Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're happy with joining us in the live stream today. We're trying out a bit of a new concept. Usually we have a guest speaker. They come, they give a lecture, a nice reminder, like we had Sheikh Sadiq, Sheikh Mahmoud, Sheikh Ali. But however, today we're going to try and have a more of a discussion-based episode, right? So my name is Akil, and you might know me as the volunteer that helps out other masjid, or also the guy behind the virtual mosque. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. How did I get involved in becoming a volunteer? How did I learn about these programs, and my story behind getting into all the active work. But I'm not alone today. With me, on my left-hand side, I have Brother Nader. Introduce yourself, man.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How's everybody? My name is Nader Halak. I'm currently an IR rep. I work with them sometimes here and there for fundraisers. I do several other things. I help out with the sheikh sometimes, whether it's with translations or teaching some Quran or taking care of the children in trips and whatnot. I do have a few other things, but these are the main things that I'm focused on right now, alhamdulillah.
And on my other right, we have Sister Maisam.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Maisam. I'm currently working with Islamic Relief Canada, and I like to volunteer in the community wherever there's a chance.
That's awesome. So, by the way, this is live, and I have my phone open, so I will be checking questions, comments. So if you have anything you want to ask during the stream, please go ahead and do so. I'll be happy to interact with you guys. So for you guys, you just said you volunteered. So I'm going to start off with Nader, by the way. You said you volunteered with Islamic Relief, right? But can you tell me about what was the first event you ever volunteered with, and how did you get to that first event?
Oh, subhanAllah. Well, this actually takes me back several years when I was in university. It didn't actually start off with Islamic Relief right off the bat. So basically, when I was in university, I had a strong feeling towards orphans, and I saw the need in our community to have some kind of club to fundraise money for them because we didn't have anything at the time. This is in London, Ontario. So I was part of the MSA already, and I found a good collaboration movement where I can actually start up a club just for orphan sponsorship. So alhamdulillah, I was able to do that. I manifested some events to fundraise some money and whatnot. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, but I don't really have the correct avenues to give these funds to the orphans. So I reached out to Islamic Relief, and we got in touch with Islamic Relief, and that was the first time I basically got in touch with them, and we flourished from there. So year after I finished university, and then I came over to Alberta here, I started getting more involved with them just as a regular volunteer. So anytime they needed somebody at the event, whether it's a dinner or whether it's another event in the middle of the city, I would just go and be like, I'm here to help if you guys need any help at all. At the time, I was unknown in Edmonton here. Yeah. But alhamdulillah, with time, the core volunteers and the management team, they saw that I was a little bit more active. I had some talents that they could manifest in their team. And so from there, little by little, alhamdulillah, I got a little bit more involved until to the point that I was actually able to go to Bosnia to be on the field with some of the orphans, which was one of the highlights that I had with orphans, alhamdulillah. So that's basically a kind of a short story of how I got to be involved with Islamic Relief.
Thank you for sharing, Nader. How about you, Sister Maisam? By the way, what's your title? Do I call you Sister Maisam?
Yeah, you just call me
Maisam.
We're friends.
Yeah.
I've known Akil forever.
Yeah.
Since he was in high school, junior high?
No, before probably.
Before, yeah.
Because I'm friends with your cousins too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a long time. Okay, so the question was, how did we first get involved in volunteering in general?
Yeah.
I'm going to go all the way back to junior high, to be honest. I used to have a passion for public speaking, which I didn't know about until I started doing it. And I had a teacher. I'm not going to disclose names because I didn't ask for approval from anyone. So I'll just speak honestly in general, but they know who they are. So I had a teacher who saw this talent in me and totally helped me pursue it. Started getting me involved in the community, taking me to a lot of events, and getting me to public speak and volunteer. And I think from that experience, I saw how volunteer volunteers. We're so heavily needed. They do so much. Honestly, all the events, they get carried out on the backs of volunteers. It doesn't matter what type of event or with who. They do so much work, and everyone relies on them so much, and I love that fact of it. And then I started to see how people, you get to meet new people. You get to be more diverse and tolerant with others. And it was just, and you always felt leaving really good about it, about yourself and about being there and how successful the events are. And I think it just flourished from there. And I just kept getting involved with the community. I started working with the Islamic Academy and at the Rashid and with the RYC.
Yeah.
And then it all led up to here.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah, that's good. Oh, technical difficulties. Okay. So we're on to me now, but you guys could jump in, by the way. It's not like a lecture, we could talk. So I actually don't want to tell you guys about how I started becoming a volunteer. I want to share the story of a young girl, actually. And this is a story. Yeah, I'm not gonna say her name. I'm like just you. Like I was gonna say her name, but then you mentioned a good point, so I'm not gonna disclose who she is. But this happened actually within the last couple months, right? So we're in the lockdown, and I'm in the middle of a project for Human Concern International. I have to fundraise $50,000 for a temporary learning center, but like it's a lockdown and things are slow. I don't have any good ideas. I'm like pretty stale. So I was talking to this young girl, and then because, well, she's a student, so and I volunteer and I work with young kids a lot, so I knew her brother, so that's how we were talking about this project. And I was saying, I need just $1,400 more to hit the $50,000 it would take to complete this learning center project, right? I had $48,600, so yeah, $1,400. And then she was like, I can take care of it. Maybe we could do a bake sale. Maybe we could do something like that, right? So she got together with her mom and she wanted to do this bake sale. She wanted to sell cupcakes for $1,400. But then lo and behold, you can't sell food anymore. COVID, right? The COVID-19 lockdown, we have these restrictions and rules, right? So I'm like, all right, I was gonna tell her, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out somewhere on my own, right? But what is she? She's like 11 or 12. Do you think she gave up? Do you think she's like, nah, Akhil, you can take it back? No, she was like, I took this $1,400 like challenge and I'm gonna get it done no matter what, right? So just in that moment alone, I was taken back because I knew when I was that age, when I was 11, I wouldn't even like want to like join a team, like a sports team or something like that. I did not want to be involved at all in anything. But to see that this young 11-year-old girl step up to the challenge, when it's not only like regular volunteering, she's in a leadership position, she has like the obstacles of COVID-19, the lockdown, and she's like saying, I'm gonna get this $1,400, right? So she adapted her plan. She did lots of like research of how can I raise money in this lockdown, and she came up with the bottle drive idea, right? All right. So we then we partner up with like various other groups because, by the way, that's how it is when you're doing a project. It's never like I'll do it all alone as Akhil or I'll do it all alone as another. You always need a team. You always like link up, right? Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about like team building in a second, right? Yeah. But to finish the story, she teamed up with her grade 6 friends. She teamed up with the school Islamic Academy, which is kind of what it is. She teamed up with like me and like some other guys like that were experts in collecting and recycling bottles, like Bottle Depot, right? And then she fundraised over 5,000 in the first couple days, right? But then do you think she stopped and be like, all right, that's enough? No, she's like, let's extend this, let's keep going, Akhil, right? So she went out, extended the bottle drive, got more friends involved, and then she not only did she like start collecting bottles, she also reached out to people and they started giving cash donations. So she found different ways of generating funds, right? And in the end, can you guess how much money she fundraised on her own? And by the way, I was like not involved at all. Really? Do you know how?
5,000.
No, that's really inshallah next time, but pretty close. Because remember, her goal was 1,400. You know what she got? 16,000. That's more than 10 times her goal, right? So yeah, I'm not a father, but I felt really proud, like that situation, right? You guys know what I mean, right?
That's an amazing example of determination and ambition.
Yeah.
Someone who has a passion for something.
Right.
So, quick point on that actually is intention. So, who are you doing this for? Was she doing it for you?
No,
Or was she doing it for herself to feel better about herself?
absolutely
Was
not.
she doing it for her parents to be proud of her? No.
No.
So the only reason she got tawfiq and she got this success that she was able to, alhamdulillah, is because she did it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only and
Yeah.
alone. And that is something that a lot of the youth may actually forget about or just miss on, is realizing that anything and everything they're doing, even in their daily lives, is supposed to be purely for the sake of Allah. Because if they're about to do something wrong and then they think, hold on, is this for the sake of Allah? Of course not. They will not do it at all.
Yeah.
So when they think about it for the sake of Allah and then they have this determination, no, this is going towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and this is going for the orphans or for a community center or for a learning center or whatnot and so on and so forth, the intention usually gives the end result at the end as well. That is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
You just do your thing, you do your part for the sake of Allah and let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take care of the rest.
That's very true, and I've seen it like time and time again. I know, like, for me, like the volunteers I've worked with, a lot of them don't even want to be like on camera or on stage because they want to know. They want to know, like, when they give, for example, when you give charity in such privacy that the right hand or the left hand doesn't know the other hand. They're kind of like that, but with their time, with their effort, with their words, right? So they'll be like,
Not there for the recognition.
exactly. Like this guy, he'll be like, I'll be behind the camera working the whole time, but he doesn't want to like come and like,
Akil didn't even tell us his name, by the way.
yeah, Mr. Anonymous. But don't worry, if you go back to other episodes, he's in there, right? Yeah. So, what do you, like, we were talking to, you can't just do this on your own, and you definitely need a strong intention, but you also need friends.
Need a village.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And subhanAllah, you know what? Like I was blessed enough to have such a big family and so much cousins. And you rely so much on the people in the community and your family when you're doing volunteer work because it needs manpower. You
Yeah.
need people to be there and things come up last minute and you need someone who's so experienced, someone that's like a mentor or a teacher or who's been there that can guide you. At the end of the day, we all started out very young,
Yeah.
you know, and we had very much experience. But then when there's people around you who are so well experienced and who just kind of that person where it's like, you know, no matter what happens, they're going to get you out of it kind of thing. So having a big family and having a solid community, like we are a very tight-knit community at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
You put out a call for help and then the response is in hundreds, alhamdulillah, like amazing, mashallah. And so it's a blessing too to have a community like that.
That's really good. So, having a good team is really important. Having good intention is really important, right? But then I think also having like a solid vision is really important because when you do these projects, right, you can't just be like, you can't have actions for the sake of actions. You can't have intention without action. You need action with intention, right? And in order for you to have a good intention, you need to be mindful about what you want to do. So it involves like being aware of situations, right? You can't just be like, oh, I want to serve the community, but I don't know what the community needs, right? So you need to be actually a present person, be involved, and get to know what's happening in your community. We'll be right back after this half-minute technical break. Welcome back, everyone. I know that was kind of strange, but we had to do what we had to do. Yeah. So we were in the middle of talking about getting to know the issues in your community in order to better be able to serve them, right? So I have like a bunch of WhatsApp groups. I have Facebook groups. I have like pages where I get to like notifications. But is that really like how you find out what's wrong in the community?
You know, honestly, most of the time it's by word of mouth, or like God forbid something bad happens in the community, and then people start to share stories with one another or their experiences, and then it's like you find that there's certain things in the community that are people are needing, you know, or for example, our youth. I feel like our youth are. A lot of times the most common thing I hear is like, oh, we need like mentors or guidance, or they're a little bit confused about the deen, you know?
Yeah.
Because they hear one thing in the media, they're hearing one thing from their friends, whether they have non-Muslim friends or Muslim friends, and then their families at home are living a certain type of lifestyle as well. So I think a lot of youth get confused, and I feel like there's so much work in that area.
Yeah, there's work that needs to be done in that area, but how do I find out like particular issues? Like how do I know like, hey Akil, you're doing like a program for orphans this weekend?
Oh,
or
okay,
hey,
okay.
Nader, what are you up to this weekend? Do I have to, like, do I just have to like know your number and text message you the whole time?
Personally, yes. I'm not a social media person by any means.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I was never much into social media, and I don't really follow up much with that. But the moment I get a phone call or a text message from someone, I'm right there. I'm ready to roll. But definitely we live in an era of social media, so sometimes I try to just like creep up into some social media, see what exactly is going on, and just kind of show up, or ask or if I know the leader or whoever's managing the event, to be like, hey, do you guys need an extra set of hands? I'm available, inshallah.
Yeah.
So always dive and look for opportunities, because this is the only way you're gonna grow. This is the only way you're gonna be able to explore yourself and know your own self-identity. Because through that, you will see your own weaknesses and your own strengths come to light, so that you can work on the strengths to make them even better and make them into talents. And your own weaknesses, so you know where you're actually deficient, where you should actually work on, and so on and so forth. Again, remembering that you're doing this for the sake of Allah. And there's nothing wrong to have multiple intentions go into an event. That's something that's known in Islam. But always remember the very sole purpose of anything you're doing, whether you're visiting the sick, whether you're helping the needy, whether you're giving sadaqah, whether you're helping out at an event, or just taking an obstacle off the road or the sidewalk. Always remember why you're doing it. You're not doing it to show off. That's a huge problem that we have these days, which but we're not going to get into that right
Yeah, but I
now.
like the point where you said like, don't be afraid to delve in. Like, don't be afraid to ask, I want to get involved. Or if you have an idea, like if you have a passion, for example, or an idea or something you want to help out, you know, don't be afraid to ask and say, hey, how can I get involved? Or how can I be a part of this? Because I think 100% of the time, someone's going to say, yes, come help us, we need your help. And if not, if the help has been found, there's always going to be other things where people are going to need help, and then they can reach out to you because they know that you have that eagerness to help, right?
I would like, before we keep on going with this discussion, a huge shout out to everyone watching at home or on their mobile device, wherever that may be, on Facebook and YouTube. Assalamu alaikum Awais, Assalamu alaikum Abdi, Assalamu alaikum Sister Manar Muhammad, Assalamu alaikum Malik, my homie. I see you watching, bro. Assalamu alaikum Ibrahim, Salam, April, Salam, Sister Abira. Thanks for always tuning in. I don't think she's missed a single episode. Omar Taliani. Who's Omar? You know this? Yeah, who's that guy?
Why are you watching us?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm in a cadre, like a huge family.
Shout out to my
Daniel, Hassan, everyone. But I see a disturbing comment. Someone says, but I don't have friends. Oh man. First of all, that's a lie. I know you have friends, right? I'm sorry to be harsh. I'm a very harsh person sometimes. I know you have friends, right? Look, it's really easy to say, I want to get involved and look for an event, and not look for an event and just wait for someone to ask you. Wait for someone to be like, wait for Nadir to come to your house, I've done this before, come to your friend's house, drag them out of your bed, and then like bring them to the event. But you know what? That doesn't really happen. As you were saying, you have to take that initiative. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did not wait for things to happen. He took action. He had good intention, he had good strategy, but he was also a man of action, right? You have to go to where the problems are in order to solve them. You don't wait for problems to come to you to solve them, right?
And then I think also sometimes maybe the youth have a misconception about what a friend is.
Yeah.
A friend is not someone that you have to be with every single minute or every single day or talk to every single day. You know, I know when we were younger, maybe we did see our friends every day we were at school, but when you leave school or post-secondary, you don't see your friends as much, but doesn't mean they're not your friends anymore, right? So even if you have acquaintances or you see people and you know them and say hello, those people probably would be there for you if you needed something from them, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to have a friend who's like a 24/7 friend, right?
On that point, we live in an era of very low self-esteem, especially with the youth.
That's true.
And a lot of people may feel that they don't have friends, but guess what? That's actually an opportunity. That is a huge opportunity.
An opportunity.
So never think that you're gonna get into something and succeed the first time.
Right.
That's not gonna happen. If it does happen,
MashaAllah.
then great. But success comes through multiple times of failure. For example, I'll give you a live example of my own actually. When I was in university and starting that orphan sponsorship committee or club, I actually had my proposal rejected several times. And you'd be surprised by who? Sometimes by my MSA members. Although it's going to orphans, Muslim orphans. So in the sense that you don't have friends, I would ask you this question. Do you have a different mission than them? Because they don't support you with your ideas. So if you want to actually achieve something, so as you were saying earlier, to have a vision, that's one of the important points to have in volunteering and whatnot, and knowing what's going on in the community. This is actually something very important when it comes to Allahumma salli wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammad.
It's very
Like,
important.
you know.
That's
No,
fine.
you're saying, like-
He's fasted a long day, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, he's been out in the field doing volunteer work.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what was the point we were talking about right now?
We're saying it's.
You think it's an opportunity to make
Yeah.
friends?
Yes.
Yeah, like.
Vision, so what I wanted to say is the foundation itself is actually the vision. So what vision do you have? Look out there for those exact same people that have that exact same vision. Those are going to be your friends. Because you guys will be unified towards that vision and will work together, and that's how you build a good teamwork. So, for example, IR, Islamic Relief, we have completely different personalities in the team, but we all unify towards one goal and one vision, which is basically to fundraise for orphans. We have this passion, we want to help them out, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't matter if the people around you are different than you. They don't have to be exactly the same as you so that they can become a friend.
Right.
So as long as you have a person who pushes you towards your own vision and your own passion, that is a friend. That is a true friend.
Sometimes a friend is someone that there's something in them you admire that you would like to have within yourself, or like a talent, or their characteristics or something, and then you admire that in them. So being around them, helps you to be a better person, or to do different things that maybe you would shy or you're reserved to do. Sometimes that's something that brings people together as well.
Another thing you were talking about earlier is you had a teacher, for example. So someone who believed in you. And unfortunately to say, these days we don't have many of these people that actually take someone under their wing or act as their mentor or tell them, here, this is an opportunity, come and grab it. Some people don't have that. So that actually recycles into their own self-esteem. They have less and less self-esteem and they think they're no good. They become lonely, and loneliness only calls for more loneliness, and they feel like they're useless. They're doing nothing, pretty much just slacking at home. So with those people, I would say one thing, because Every one of us has gone through that at one point. The way I dealt with it is when I was in high school, I would see an opportunity. For example, in high school, I was in a completely white high school, so in Mississauga, and there were several Muslims, but they were completely, like, they were just far from the deen. So we started off with just having Jummah prayers, because when I was there, I was like, well, we have a bunch of Muslims, we should have a Jummah prayer. So I established that. Does it take a few hoops to run through? Absolutely. Yeah, it does. But from there comes the call for now, we have people that actually want to pray this Jummah. We have enough people now. It started off with 3 people. By the end of the year, it ended up with like 40. So by that time, we were able to actually establish a club, just an MSA club for that high school. So coming out of the darkness and coming out all alone is actually a huge opportunity. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting you in that spot so you can come up with something yourself. So don't ever think that you're alone, even if you don't have a mentor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always with you.
Those are very well said. The point you were making earlier about if you don't feed your self-esteem, like it starves and then that keeps on starving and it diminishes and diminishes. That negative feedback loop, I find it's very real and very prominent amongst our youth. That's why taking that first step is always the hardest one, right? But I've seen it like countless times. When you come up to that first event, you volunteer, you get active. When you come up to like that first appreciation dinner and you feel as if you're part of something bigger. When you come up to that first charity drive and you sweat out in the sun, like doing something like I don't know, handing out food baskets or whatnot, right? That first event, it clicks something that goes in motion, right? You start to break that cycle of low self-esteem. You start to break that cycle of negative emotions, and you start to move forward and incrementally, slowly over time, become a more and more active individual, right? And Nader, you said it really quite eloquently, as in like you can't expect to go from 0 to like 100 instantly. You have to slowly build up and start from somewhere, right? Yeah. Alhamdulillah, I think there are also people like us who've had the opportunity to be involved for quite a while, right? So there's also an onus or responsibility on us to lend that hand and transition perhaps from being mentored to also becoming a mentor and getting others involved, right? So how's, for those of us that know a lot of people that are really involved, how do we get them to extend that hand to other people? Like, what would you say? Actually, how would you, if you were to go get a youngster involved, how would you approach that?
To be honest with you, it probably stems out just from the people around me first and foremost. Like, we have a lot of younger. I mean, like right now, we're at the age group where we're not in high school anymore, we're not in junior high, and where maybe our siblings and our cousins are. And you kind of see they're not into maybe the volunteering or how we used to come to the masjid and play hockey in the gym. Yeah. Do you remember that? They used to have Friday hockey nights. And I remember we used to come here all the time as kids and we loved that. But growing up, we had that, but now this generation doesn't have that.
They have a nicer gym.
Yeah, I mean, but those were the memories we built, coming to the masjid and loving it and everything like that. So I feel like what we went through, it's nice to do it for the ones that are around us and growing up as well. And really, honestly, how I get people involved is when we do have an event, we say we need help. Come and help us. We need support, and we let people come in, and we give them the chance to show themselves, to prove themselves, you know what I mean? And then they feel good that they're being responsible for something, they're contributing to something, and then they want to do more, and then it's a win-win on both sides.
Yeah, because once they have that taste of what it means to be meaningful, it's addictive.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very right.
Something I'd like to add to that, these are beautiful points, Sister Mansi, but something that I find a little lacking actually in this community, I've been through several communities before, is having more small circled halaqas or usras. So, for example, here you notice that most of the people that you meet or you interact with are during events. People are very busy. People are very driven towards that event, making sure everything is going well. But what about having, so to all our mentors out there, including you and you, having smaller groups of people to come to your home as a halqa, talk about a few ayat of the Quran, just talk about daily issues that they're having with, and this will instill some sense of belongingness and understanding within the youth and the community. Some of the youth that will come will be like, I have problems so and so. The rest will be like, oh, so I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
For example. And then from there, just putting it out there, they themselves will branch out and they'll try to be helping each other, and so on and so forth.
You're so right. Most youth think that if they're experiencing a problem, they're going through something, that they're the only ones going through it, but it's not true. It's most likely, yes. And then once they know that they're not the only ones, they can relate with other people. I think they don't feel as bad about themselves or the situation anymore. And then they're given hope.
Yeah.
Right? I think giving someone hope is very significant in the way they flourish and contribute.
Okay, I think let's go off to the last closing point. And I want it to be like something really positive. And I think hope is a good way to end. Like, I hear a lot about hope because that's what my mom did, like her doctorate in, about how using hope to motivate people, right?
Just seeing your mom gives me hope.
Yeah. So I think it's actually like vastly underestimated what that hope or that confidence or that connection can do to an individual, especially when they're young, right? Like having these small circles, having these tight friendships, and like building these relationships, they're like something that can set your life, your entire, not just volunteering, your entire life, right? You know what I mean? Right? So let's just go around and share one moment of hopefulness we saw, and then we'll end on that. I can't start because I'm too flustered. Yeah.
Speaking of hope,
Yeah, what's like something that gave you?
you know what? I'll tell you guys something. When I watch the media, or it's so sad when you see something bad happening to the Muslim community, and I see how kind of everyone gets so scared. I personally get so affected by the way the media portrays the Muslim, because I'm a visible Muslim and I have kids and I have a family and I have sisters and my mom, and so I worry about the safety of my entire community, and then I lose hope.
Yeah.
I say, you know what, Muslims are under attack. We're so vulnerable. Like everyone hates us and whatever. But then when I see the response of the non-Muslims and the way our community comes together even stronger, and the response of the non-Muslims and how they support the Muslims, and for example, like when a mosque was like vandalized and everyone came out in the community and started repainting it and whatever. So when we all come out as a community and we show love to one another, that gives me so much hope in humanity. That like we're not alone and we shouldn't be scared, because the goodness is the greater good, and the bad is like very small. Yeah. But when we highlight the bad or we highlight the negative, it's not a good thing, because there is more good than bad.
And you see what you focus on. So
that gives me
good, you see the more
exactly.
Yeah.
And that gives me hope, like when we're all together and we're showing love and support.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm going to take hope actually in a different angle, towards more personally in person, because I know we live in a different time, a different era. I always gained, well, to start off with, we've all gone through times and phases of hopelessness where we're completely devoured by our thoughts, our darkness, and so on. However, I feel like hope is the strongest desire to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beside you. So I gain my confidence by knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is backing me up. And I'm never alone in that sense. So having hope in a person to never, what am I trying to tell you here? So basically, having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as your backbone, this is what's going to drive you forward. Always, whenever you feel like you've gone home and you've had the worst day of your life and nothing is working out and you can't sleep, you can't do anything, you have no friends, you have no people, you have no food, you have no shelter, not any of that. Wallahi al-azim, just pray 2 rak'ah, solely to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I know I'm talking about this a lot, about going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I've learned in my life, and I've learned through a lot of hard times, that this is actually the only way to gain true happiness or true hope and find yourself properly. And I'm not talking about, okay, I'm just going to go make wudu and I'm just going to raise my hands, pray my 2 rakahs quickly and go to sleep or go do something else. No. I'm talking about legit, go talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if He is your friend. As if He is the one you are going to be telling Him, Ya Allah, I have all these troubles. But at the end of the day, you say, Allahu Akbar, you are greater than all of that. And get close to Him and say, Ya Allah, I'm praying these 2 rakahs to get closer to you. Wallah al-Azim, anytime I pray those 2 rakahs with those intentions, even if my iman is high or low, I feel a ton better. And I'm able to sleep, I'm able to do anything and everything that I need to do. So, again, I know I have touched upon this point many times to go through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but I believe that is actually the core of our life here in this dunya, is to actually get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not actually to attain Jannah. Jannah is only an end result. Jannah is an end result when you do these things, when you go through volunteering, when you help the orphans, when you help build a mosque or help build a learning center and whatnot and so on and so forth, or help a friend that is in need. Anything. All of these just help you to get to the end result. But what is the actual goal in our dunya, in our life? It is actually to attain the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once you attain that, that is actually what you want. The end result is Jannah anyways already. But imagine you live your entire life not close to Allah, the one who created you, and you're doing all these things. There's no actual taste to it.
But like Amal Sulaiman put it once very well, it's like the best way to serve Allah is by serving His creation. And by volunteering, you are building that closeness, to humanity and to the creation of Allah. And hopefully, with your interactions, we get these beautiful reminders like Nader just gave us, and you meet people like that, and they always ground you back.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying anything wrong about volunteering or serving the community. No, in fact, it's the total opposite. What I'm trying to say though, make the focus at the center of all of that, Allah.
And that's where the intention came in the beginning, right? Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So, Niyyah, sorry over the mic, I keep hitting it, guys. So having good intention, Niyyah, having conviction, having good friends, having an end vision, always being hopeful, staying close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are all what are the requirements, or not requirements, the necessities of being, that's a synonym, the necessities of being a good servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Because you're abdihi, you're a worshipper, you're a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You have something to say?
Yeah, one last thing. Actually, one dua I tried to make a lot at times when I didn't know much, or I couldn't connect well with communities, is, oh Allah, use me for the good. Oh Allah, use me for the good. Oh Allah, surround me by the people who can show me where the good is so I can do it. Oh Allah, help me and use me on this earth for good. Always keep repeating that dua. Always keep repeating that dua. If you feel like you're lost or you're not sure what to do or where to start, just make that dua. And if your intention is clear, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely open a door for you.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for that.
Sorry. So I see in the comments, you guys are saying some great suggestions, like we should have more mental health programs and whatnot. You're definitely correct, right? But also a bit of a challenge for you. I know that a lot of these programs already exist, right? So maybe this is going to be a project I'll do after Ramadan with the team here. We're going to try and find all the programs that already exist and put them out there in a simple way for you to get to them. Because yes, there needs to be more programs, but there are really amazing programs out there. So take some onus, go out and find them, but don't worry, we'll come up with something to help make it easier for you, inshallah, all right? That's a project I have in mind, personally. A moment of hope, just to quickly wrap this up, that I've seen that always makes me amazed and it always makes me like realize that you're not doing this just for naught, right? Because even though we're doing it fi sabilillah, it's always motivating and encouraging when you see something tangible. As a matter of fact, earlier, like a couple of hours ago, I was talking with a brother, and he was saying that when you see an actual product to your results, it makes you want to come back, right? And if you're using this as a device to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's nothing wrong with that, right? When I work with a lot of the youngsters and I see them, I'm 24, but I've seen kids like go from this tall to taller than me, which is like 6'4", tall, like that tall, right? And over the course of their age, I've seen them like be like really shy to becoming the most active people. I've seen them going and becoming like memorizing the entire Quran. I've seen them become amazing public speakers. I've seen them become great like logistics behind events. I've seen them become great like motivators or like doers, you know what I mean? So when you look at the progress someone has made, or especially a young person that has come all the way and like has inshallah like done something good for the community, like I don't know, like obviously their intention and what's in their heart is between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but like it's okay to take motivation from that. It's okay to be inspired from that, right? And to understand that you yourself can become one of those doers. You yourself can become one of those beneficiaries to society, right? There are no more questions, but I would like to thank you guys all. There are not like no more questions in the Facebook. Do you guys have questions though?
You have questions for us? No. We'll forgive you.
Okay, so I want to wrap this up, but I feel like I should throw out this just because of the nature of the program. If you actually want to get involved and you want to be like really active in the community, and we told you a moment ago, or a mentor. We told you a minute ago you should reach out to someone, but who should you reach out to? I'm gonna actually put in the description of this video, like come on, what can I put in the description of this video to make them reach out to us if you're in Edmonton?
Okay, give him your email.
No.
Your phone number then.
My phone number? Okay.
Phone number is faster.
I'll put an email in the description.
Just leave Salwa's email and phone number, and she'll get all these calls. She gets called a lot anyway.
Yeah. I will leave something in the description for you guys to click on and follow up on. If you're watching this and you want to become a volunteer, specifically like in Edmonton, Alberta, west side, north side, it doesn't matter, right? I'll leave something in the comment for you. If not instantly, before the end of 2020, inshallah, right?
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Quite a timeline.
Yeah, generous timeline. You want to end this off with a closing dua?
Closing dua. اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم اني استغفرك واتوب اليك اللهم انك انت العليم الحكيم اللهم يا رب العالمين اقبل مننا كل هذه رمضان كل ايام رمضان اللهم تقبل منا ليالي رمضان اللهم تقبل منا ليالي رمضان اللهم تقبل منا ليلة القدر اللهم تقبل منا ليلة القدر اللهم تقبل منا ليلة القدر اللهم وفقنا واجعلنا ممن يسومون إلى وجهك يا رب العالمين اللهم إني أستغفرك وأتوب إليك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك لك الملك ولك الحمد وأنت على كل شيء قدير وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد وعلى صحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
Jazakallah khair. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Transition, my man.